everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Einstein Certification Series. So today I'm going to talk about the app basics. The reason why I'm going to talk about app basics, as you are aware that I'm covering this content from Trailhead, and the next recommended topic according to the Trailhead Einstein certification pathway is the app basics, right? So I've talked about how to create an app in the beginning, so we're gonna dig a little bit more deeper, right? So why do we need an app, right? So if you're a CEO of a company, right, or if you're a sales manager of a XYZ firm, right, and you wanted to see the sales data in the form of an app, right, or in the form of a in a form of an app which gives you an intelligent information about your sales data, right? So that's where the Einstein Analytics app comes in the picture, right? So now if you go to a Salesforce admin, right, and say, look, I wanted this app by end of, say, by end of next business day, right? Do whatever you have to do, get me an app ready, right? So if you have never worked with Einstein Analytics, right, and you might think, oh, I might have to use the Lightning Web component to develop this, develop that. Now, you don't have to do any of the stuff. There are pre-built templates, which I'm going to show you today how to build it. So what we're going to do, we're going to build a sales app, right? Pretty much out of box. You don't have to do absolutely anything behind the scene, right? So that's all I'm going to show you guys today. When you get a requirement of this sort, right, and when you have a, when you're running short of time, and when you're under extreme pressure to deliver stuff in simple terms, right? Okay, so the first thing first, you need to register for an org, right? If you do not have one, I would highly encourage you to do so, because I would want all of you watching this to do hands-on whenever they get time, right? It's not a theoretical session, right? We are not talking about theoretical Einstein. I want everyone to have at least some hands-on before they attempt the certification, right? Okay, cool. So I've logged into my org. Okay, so now go to this tic-tac-toe icon and Analytics Studio, right? So so you go to create button here, right? So click on create, and there's something called app. Okay, so you have an option to create a blank app, right? But that's not what we want, right? Because we have a serious requirement here that where your marketing guy or sales guy or CEO, whoever it is, right, asks you to create an app by end of tomorrow business day, right? And he or she or they wanted to see a sales app, a sales performance-based app, right? So you can use a pre-built template here, right? So as you can see, there is something called Sales Analytics, right? Select this one, okay? Click on Continue and read about it. I mean, I'm not going to read about this. I mean, just give you an overview, right? What is it all about, okay? And click on Continue. It takes a while, right? And then you create a brand new app, right? So create a brand new app. So don't worry about this because I've already created a new app before. So create a brand new app. You can continue, right? So it will do some kind of pre-check to see if you have met the minimum requirement, optional objects identified, field access verified, kind of stuff, right? So don't worry about it. So it looks good. Click on next. Right, so now you have an option to go for a basic or custom. Custom will give you more option. Basic will give you a limited option. Let's go with the custom, right? So go to custom, right? And where you can configure stuff. So for now, we can only choose these two, which is fine, right? You can't do opportunity split. You can't currently using this feature. So I'm not going to use any of this stuff for now, okay? So now you have a few questions here. So what is the first field you want to use to segment your customers? So if you wanted to use the account type, you can use it. If you wanted to change it, you can change it. It's all based on your business requirement, right? For now, I'm going to keep it to the default. The reason why I chose the custom option is to give you an idea how it looks like when you go that route, right? You have more flexibility to customize the stuff based on your business requirement, and that's very important, right? Because as a business, right, requirement varies from company to company, right? And the sales app might be different for a different organization because their requirements are different, right? So on that perspective, this option is pretty great. So you can pick and choose what you want. So for now, I'm not gonna fiddle with any of these options, right? Because my business requirement is to use the pretty straightforward stuff. Okay, right? So go through it and play around with it, right? I would highly encourage you to play around with it, change the stuff to see what it looks like and looks good next, right? This also you can read about it, right? And then which field contains the total amount. These are different questionnaires which you will get in terms of if you're choosing a custom option. And it's a pretty great option because you have more flexibility to customize according to the requirement of your business, right? Okay, looks good. Okay, I'm not going to do any of this stuff, right? I'm just going to keep it default. Okay, and then you can choose a field. I can choose whatever field I want. What additional fields from an account object would you like to add to sales data set, right? So I just wanted to add description, right? And you can choose contact ID here, and you can choose whatever you want. Okay, I'm not gonna bother with any of this stuff. Go next. The reason why I'm saying I'm not bothering with it, it's create a business scenario and then work on it, right? I'm not gonna spoon feed you guys. I mean I'll be very blunt here, because if I'm gonna show you every single thing, then it will leave pretty much no room for you to experiment on your own. So that's why my content, I try to cover as much as I can, but I'll leave a certain amount of space so that you guys can jump in and fill those space, because that's how you're gonna learn, right? Okay, so I'm gonna name this app to whatever I want. Say Sales First App. Okay, give a meaningful name, right? And create it. Just gonna take time, sweet time. It's still gonna take a time, right? And it's gonna do a lot of stuff behind the scene, right? You might as well go and have a coffee if you like. In the meantime, it will take 5 minutes at times, right? So it just do all the stuff behind the scene, right? So while it's doing here, I just wanted to show you something more. So go to Analytics Studio. There's something which Salesforce has given, which I would show you in a second. There's something called Trailhead Data Manager. It resets the data so that you can fiddle with it, right? So I'm not gonna run it. I'm just gonna show you what it looks like, right? And so download Trailhead Data Flow. So if you do refresh DDC data, it will refresh the data, right? That's pretty much it. Give you fresh data to fiddle with, right? So I'm not gonna. I mean, if you want, you can do it, but it's irrelevant in this point of time, right? So it's doing all this stuff. You can see that 4 system data flow instruction executed. There's no failure. 1 external data created. That's no failure. 10 data sets created. No failure. 6 lens created. No failure. 13 dashboards created, right? Think about this, right? If you are not going to use the template which Salesforce is giving you, right? For in terms of sales app what we're trying to build now, if you have to create everything from the scratch using a blank app, think about the time you would take you, right? So that's why these options which Salesforce give you is pretty great, because it gives you that benchmark, gives you that starting point so that you can work your way up, right? So if you wanted to tamper with it, at least you have a prototype in place, right? You can fiddle with it and you can do whatever you want with it, right? So that's why this option is amazing, right? You have this is what we're doing for the sales. If you wanted to do for a service analytics, you can do that as well. So that's another option we have, right? So we have different options here. I'm just going to show you one more time, right? Create an app. Okay. And so you see, these are the templates we have, right? If you wanted to have design style guide, Einstein discovery for insurance, for sales, right? Service, as I said, revenue, right? This might be of interest to many companies, right? And then we have B2B commerce, approval analytics, right? This is pretty great options as well. Appointments, right? And then we have change analytics, right? This kind of things, it's actually very useful if you wanted a starting point, and if you are someone who's unsure about how your app should look like, I think that this will give you a great starting point, right? So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is a great option, play with it. So probably choose the field service, when you get time, and see how it looks like, right? If it fits for a business requirement, yeah, go for it. Okay, so let's see if it's still running. Normally when it completes, right, it gives you an option saying application complete, but for some reason it hasn't done so. That's why I said you can go for a cup of coffee if you want, or latte or tea, or you can probably have a beer if you like, right? Because at least it's 6 p.m. in New Zealand, so might as well. Right, so yeah, so while it does the job, right, I wanted to talk about another stuff, which is about the data flow, using it. So we have something called a data manager here, right? So you go to data manager here, right? And so we have something called data flows and recipes. We have data and we have connect. So what happens is that if you want your data set to be updated, right, you need to run, you need to run the flow. That's how you update the data set. If you do not want to run manually, you can schedule it. That's the one way you can do it. So as you can see that I'm here. So you can reach to this data manager by using this gear cog icon, and you can go to data manager here, and we'll take you to pretty much the same option here, right? So you're gonna go to the connect, right? And then there is something here, SFTC local. That's exactly what I'm gonna choose now. Okay, I'm gonna use the run now, or you can schedule. So if you go to schedule, you can schedule when you want it to run. You can run it pretty much every day, right? And let's say I wanted to run it every single day at a specific time, right? So probably it's better to run in the middle of the night, or whatever time that suits your business requirement, right? So this is why it will always ensure that you have a updated data set to work with, right? So, and this is very handy options. Or if you wanted to get an update right away, you can pretty much run now, right? That's the one of the options you can do. Okay. So as you can see on the screen, so it's running data flow instructions, right? So almost 43 user data flow instructions needs to run. So it's gonna take a while. So let's go back here and let's schedule it. So like I said, you can schedule based on a minute, run every 30 minutes if you want. That's your choice, right? And you can run, Monday to Friday, or you can run it, but I don't think so. That's a great option in my opinion. So I mean, running once a day seems like a good option, but if your business have a high possibility of changing the data so frequently, then probably this minute will do the job for you, or an hour, probably, right? So yeah, think about it and play with it. So you need to sit and analyze your business requirement. These are the tools which you can use, but I can't tell you your business scenario, how it should looks like, right? So that's up to your company and decisions what you guys make, right? So we have an option here. You can use it. That's all I can tell you. Okay, and you can, if you wanted to run now, you can run. If you want notifications, you can click on notification, right? You can send an email, right? And you can see that the user data flow is running, right? So what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna see and run it now. Let's see what happens. So it's running, connecting. and it was queued to run. So as you can see, I just clicked an option to run now, and you can look under monitor, and it's doing kind of a run, right? So it will take some time, right? So it's running, and yeah, and you see the flows. It flows data instruction executed. So I have already created an app before, because I knew that it might take ages. So I'm gonna show you exactly how an app looks like, because I've run that, I've created that before. So because I'm not sure how long it's gonna take. So you might even go have your dinner. So so this is the one I've created, the demo one before. It's the same template I've used. So let me run it and show you how it looks like. Right? So this is how the sales analytics app looks like. Think about it. Your CEO comes to you and says, look, I want this app by end of next business day. Here you go. This is your app, right? Fantastic. Right? And then you can use this as a benchmark and kind of stuff. You can go to the the leaderboard, right? So this is how it looks like, right? If you wanted to see the leaderboard and you wanted to see what is trending, you can see what is trending. So a lot of options you can see. You see, one single template, you see, created you all of this. Isn't it cool, right? And you don't have to do absolutely anything, to drag and drop or any such thing. You don't have to do anything. As you can see, I've used the existing template, and it's created a pretty fancy looking app, right? And you can see the forecasting, as you can see that, and so this is how the forecast looks like. You don't have to worry about the graphs. It's pretty neat looking, right? So yeah, and your CEO or your marketing boss or your sales boss will be happy looking at this, because it gives him or her or they a clear indication of how the sales metrics is about, right? So you can go back and you can see company overview, optimize your sales, individual performance, a lot of things you can do here, right? This is why I said creating an app is cool. You don't have to do most of the stuff from the scratch, but if you wanted to do that, you're welcome to do so. I mean, templates will give you that starting point. So yeah, I mean, use whatever works for you, right? So this is all I wanted to talk about today, right? And there are so if you go here, right, and we already talked about license and permissions, permission sets in one of the episode, right? So I won't be talking about it. It's just like doing a repetition. So we talked about these two topics here, right? So next day we're gonna talk about Einstein Analytics for Sales App. So we're gonna look into more detail, right? Then we have Service App. Then we have Bolt Advanced Einstein Analytics Dashboard. Then we have integration, desktop exploration, custom map, code chart, event monitoring, mobile exploration, app design, template data development. I don't think so. We need this Einstein basics, because I already talked about it. Discovery basics, yeah. Discovery stories, story insight. So couple of things, and we are good to go, right? So, and rest is all up to you, how you're going to practice it. So I'll try to cover pretty much all of it, what's needed for the certification, right? So that's my main interest. Okay, all right, guys. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. So greetings and adios from New Zealand. Take care. Bye-bye.